So this is a Done With teacher on rotations on a coordinate plane. So if you remember, rotations means that we're just turning an image, kind of like a wheel. So we have some notes to fill in here. A rotation turns, as we just said, a figure around a fixed point called the center of the rotation. For our examples, the center of rotation will be the origin and will rotate in increments of 90 degrees. So if you're looking at these two circles here, if this is our starting point and we go around in this direction, this is called clockwise. But if you start in here and you go the opposite direction, this is called counterclockwise. Now, if you're looking at it on a coordinate plane, each quadrant is going to represent 90 degrees. So if I'm starting right here and I get to this point, I'm at 90. Now, if I continue on and I get to this point, I'm at 180. And I continue on, I get to the third quadrant, I'm at 270. Now, if the image were to then come back to itself, you'd be at 360. So this one here says find the number of degrees of rotation. So I can tell that I'm starting here, and if I'm going to go clockwise, that means I'm going to go to the right, and I'm going to go to the next quadrant where it's at, and I only went one quadrant over, so I only changed by 90 degrees. It rotated 90 degrees. Now, if I want to go counterclockwise, that means I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go the other direction. So there's 90, here's 180, and then I come back to it, and now I'm at 270. So this is 270 degrees counterclockwise. All right, let's look at number 2. So number 2, I'm starting here because this is my prime. So that's my image. This is my pre-image. If I go let's do clockwise first. If I go clockwise, I'm going to go to the right. So this is 90. This is 180. And now I'm at 270. So I went 270 degrees clockwise. What did I do counterclockwise? So if I started here, counterclockwise goes to the left. I only went up one quadrant, which means I only went 90 degrees counterclockwise. All right, so here's my pre-image. I'm trying to get to that image there. If I'm going to go clockwise, I go to the right. So this is 90 and this is 270. So I went 270 degrees clockwise. Now, not 270, just saw my error, 180. There we go. Let's fix that real quick. 180. All right, now if I go counterclockwise, I'm going to start here and I'm going to go the other direction. So I'm going to come here and that's 90, and then here, that's 180. So it's also 180 degrees counterclockwise. All right, I want you to try 4, 5, and 6. All right, number 7 says rotate the figure shown at the right 90 degrees, then 180, and then 270 clockwise. So we're going to go in this direction because we're going to go clockwise. After each rotation, record your coordinates. So I will do the first rotation and then you guys will do the next two. So since this is a rotation, we're literally just going to turn it around. So my first rotation will be the first 90. That's the one I'm going to do. And then you guys will do the 180 and the 270. So I can tell right here that I have an A, and my A is at 2, 1. which they state here is at 2, 1. And I'm going to rotate it clockwise, which means I'm going to move it to the x1. So I'm going to go 1 here, and then I'm going to go down 2. So there's my A prime. All right, then I'm going to do my B. Now my B's over here at positive 6, 1, which they told us here, 6, 1. And I'm going to move my B to 1, negative 6. So there's my B prime. And now my C is up here at positive 4, 7, which they wrote over here as well. And now I'm going to move it to 7, negative 4. Now, if you have your straight edge, go ahead and connect these lines. So there is my 90-degree rotation. So if you're trying to figure out, like, how did she know which coordinates to put that on? Well, let's write those down. So my A went from 2, 1 to 1, negative 2. And then my B went from 1, negative 6. And my C went to 7, negative 4. Sometimes when they're written side by side, you might actually see the rule. So what happened? Well, my X became my Y opposite. So it went from X being 2 to Y being negative 2. All right, so let me highlight that so it's a little easier to see. My X was 2. And then all of a sudden my Y is now 2 and it's negative. So it flipped to the Y and became the opposite sign. Let's see if that's the same rule for B. So my X was 6 and now my Y is negative 6. Here my X is 4 and now my Y is negative 4. All right, well, let's see. What happened with the other numbers? My Y is 1, so now my X is 1. My Y is 1, my X is 1. My Y is positive 7, my X is positive 7. So it looks like everybody flipped a little bit. What happened algebraically? Well, what changed, or let's put it this way, what stayed the same? My Y's stayed the same, but my Y's became my X's. So obviously my Y is now first, and I took the opposite X. So in your own words, I would say that negative X and Y values switched. And your X became opposite signs. Okay, so I want you to try to go 180 clockwise, which will be in this quadrant. And then I want you to try your 270 clockwise, which will be in this quadrant. All right, so number 8. Let's look at number 8. Number 8 we have, I'm going to get my highlighter. We have this situation here. So I'm going to see my X is 9, but now my Y is a negative 9. Okay. My Y is 8, but now my X is 8. So what happened there? Well, it kind of looks like the one I had just finished doing with you guys, where we obviously rotated 90-degree clockwise, or you can say 270 degrees counterclockwise. Let's try the next one. This one here, my X is negative 4, and now my Y is negative 4, okay? And then now my Y is positive 5, but my X is negative 5. All right, so what happened there? Well, we rotated 270 degrees clockwise, or we can say 90 degrees counterclockwise. All right, I'm gonna let you do 10, 11, and 12. And again, you can skip the summary.